Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the weekly analysis. So for those who are new, what we're going through for every week is that we'll be looking at some of the pairs in the market and share with you some of the insights and setups that I'm monitoring. Right, and hopefully through this you'll be able to gain certain different perspective, or if you miss out on certain pairs, then hopefully this video will give you different insights into what are some of the potential setups that you can monitor. Right, and for those who have been following us for some time, really thank you. So let's jump into the chart for this week directly. Right, so this week itself we'll be focusing a lot on the Australian dollar, mainly because next week, Tuesday in the morning, we have the RBA rate statement. Right, so fundamentally the Australian economy is still weak, so there's a certain percentage or certain probability that the interest rate for Australian dollar would still be cut. All right, so that will mean a bearish momentum, a bearish sentiment for the Australian dollar. Alright, but what we'll be looking at for today in this video is mainly technical analysis, so we do not really take into account the fundamental aspect of it. Alright, having said that, it doesn't mean that it's not important. It just simply means that in this video we won't be covering on that aspect, but just focusing on the technical analysis. So the first pair that I want to share with you, right, bring you through, is the Australian dollar AU. Right, if you look at this pair, the overall trend is still in the downwards momentum, alright, but what we had experienced was a retracement and then following back. It haven't really broke the previous low, so what is happening now is in the range bound region. Alright, and what we have over here, we have two potential setup. Alright, so for those who really want to practice, you can pause this video and take some time to see if you can see any potential advanced pattern setting up. Alright, so the first one that I would like to bring you through, alright, let me pull in my Fibonacci tool. If we pull our Fibonacci tool from the recent high to the recent low, what you see is this retracement coming in at the 382. Alright, this gives us a potential bad setup. Alright, and what we are looking for completion, right, bad pattern, is at the 88.6 level. Alright, if I draw it in for you, alright, this would be it, right? And what we do is we want to look, if there's any confluence at this 88.6 Fibonacci level. And if you scroll back, all right, what we see is we do have some potential structural level in the past, right? But what you want to take into account is that there's still some room, all right, before price reach the 86 level. All right, so let me clear, and I'll bring you through the smaller pattern which has a higher chance of setting up. Alright, so this one, if I drop it down to the hourly time frame, it will be clearer. Right, so this is again, right, we pull Fibonacci tool from the recent high to the recent low. Alright, what we had over here is a potential cipher pattern setting up. Alright, and the cipher pattern completes around at the 786. And once again, if you drop in the horizontal tool, alright, there's nothing much on this in terms of structure level, just the previous support level. All right, why I'm interested, right, to monitor this setup is because if you look over here, right, let me pull in the tool. If you look over here, we have something like a double bottom, all right, and if you look at the RSI, it's a divergence. All right, let me pull it up to the higher time frame. It's much clearer over there. Alright, so what we had is a double bottom and a divergence. So with this setup, what we expecting normally, alright, for those who also follow Q, right, he's really great, alright, shared with a lot of people on different trading methodologies and really inspired by him, right? So this 2618 is basically by them. Alright, so what we did is we adopted this trading methodologies for ourselves as well. Right, so what you see is that you have a divergence, alright, and what normally do is we wait for the retracement, alright, price to retrace back to the 618, and then we trade the 618 from here. Alright, but since we had also a cipher pattern setting up over here, what I'll do is I basically would want to wait for a deeper retracement to the 786, which coincides with the completion of the cipher pattern. Alright, the main reason is risk to reward. So basically I'll be entering at the 786 Right, so let me put in the 2. Right, I'll be entering at the 786. My stops will be below my lowest low, which is below my X point. Alright, and for this case, my target, I wouldn't be using the Harmonic Fibonacci 382 and 618 for my target, but instead I'll trade this, alright, and use my target as the double 2618 setup, alright, double bottom setup. So my first target will be at the recent high, and my second target, right, we'll be using Fibonacci 2, aiming for the 127 extension. Alright, so this would be my second target. Alright, so this is how I'm going to engage this setup should price comes back down to this region. Alright, but as mentioned earlier in this video, that we have impact, right, RBA rate statement on Tuesday, something to take note as well. Alright, so this is what I'll be looking out for on the Aussie dollar. The next pair I want to pull you through is the Aussie Yen. Alright, if you look through on this pair, alright, what we have is another setup, which is also a harmonic pattern setup. Alright, I would like to just share with you that this setup is very similar to the Aussie dollar. Alright, what we have over here is a potential bad pattern. And if we drop in a horizontal line, alright, we do see some previous structural resistance level, alright, over here as well. So this is, I would say, one of the higher probability setup for Australian yen. Alright, but if you look at this, alright, bring your attention towards this level. Alright, we do have a minor double bottom with some, I wouldn't say a very clear one, but a small divergence. Alright, so if you are interested to monitor this as well, something that you can take into account, right? But for this case, I won't be taking this, but I'll be mainly focusing on this bad pattern. So once again, how we are going to set our entries, alright? We'll be waiting for price to come up all the way to the 886 retracement level, which is the 86.94 level, around there, the region. Right, we'll be shorting over there with our stops above our X, right, and target we'll be using the harmonic advanced pattern target. Alright, the first TP will be at the 382 level, and the second TP will be at the 618 level. Alright, let me pull in the 618 level. Alright, so if you look into the risk to reward ratio of bad pattern, alright, the first TP will give you slightly more than 1.5, which is really decent. And should you aim for the second target, it can give you more than 2.5 in this case. Right, something for you to take into account as well when you're trading, right? The risk to reward ratio. Mainly because if you are into the markets, right, sometimes but often you understand that the probability of winning, alright, it's just slightly over 50%, and how you really make money out of this market is really by your strict and stringent money management technique, right? And of course, risk to reward ratio is one of them. Alright, the last pair that I want to bring you through in this video is the Aussie Canadian dollar. Alright, so the past two setups were mainly the bearish setup, but in this case, what we have over here is a bullish one. Right, if I pull in my Fibonacci 2 from my recent low to the recent high, what we see is that this retracement comes in around the 618 region. Alright, and this gives us a potential godly pattern. Right, so the potential godly pattern completes around the 786. But for those who have been following me sometime, right, how I trade godly pattern is slightly different. I like to pull Fibonacci from B point to A point, and I would like to find my completion around the 127 region. Right, which is lower normally. Alright, so if you look into that, alright, if I draw in, so the region that you are interested at will be around the 786 to 127 extension. Right, so for me, I will give the 786 a go, as in I wouldn't pen my orders over here, but I'll look at the 127. Right, so let me clear this so it becomes clearer. The reason why, alright, is very simple. It's mainly because of risk to reward ratio. Alright, so if I drop in my tools, alright, let me pull in quickly. So my targets, this is the wrong tool. Right, so we'll be buying, alright, should price comes down to the 0.9195 region. Alright, our stops will be below X, and our first target will be at 382. Alright, and our second target will be at 618. So I want to bring you through is that, if you look at this, the risk to reward ratio of this Gartley is pretty high as well. TP1 will give you slightly below 2, alright, and if you aim for TP2, this setup will give you a risk to reward ratio of 3. Very decent, alright. So this is something that some of the few setups that you want to take into account, right, for next week. So what I want to share with you is that next week, actually tomorrow itself, right, what we'll be doing is we'll be having a live session. I wouldn't call it a webinar, but more of a session where I'll be going through the market, alright, on the Monday night. Because Monday normally I don't do day trading, so on the Monday night I do have some time, right, to spare, and that's where I like to have a session, right, to really share with you how I analyze the market. And what you can do is you can take this opportunity, alright, to ask any questions related to trading, etc. And I'll right do my best to answer. And anyway, the session will be free, so I'll drop you the link below this video. Don't really need to sign up, alright? But if you're interested, you can just drop by tomorrow. What we'll be doing is we'll be conducting it at 8 p.m. alright, Singapore time, which is GMT plus 8. Alright, other than that, that's it. So have a great week ahead, and I'll talk to you soon.